Hey, Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. Jean Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love that you're here. It's a beautiful Wednesday. It's October 26th, 2022. I think I haven't set the date in a while. And what they're doing also, it's funny to watch on platforms like YouTube. They're removing the date where things are posted. It's interesting. There's a reason behind that. But I want to welcome you all. Inspired Tribe, we're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. Repeat after me. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. I didn't just give you the finger. No, it just looked like it. And we're excited that you're here. Let us know where you're tuning in from in the live chat. I see DJ Trump here. Good to see you. Yah bless, man. Good to see you. Michelle's here. Little Light Warrior. Yay, you made the live. That's awesome. Congratulations. So glad you're here. Rosabelle's here. Dennis is here. Erica, AZ Prepper Jules, good to see you. Robert House is here. So good to see you. Where is he? Pozdrav. Sounded like he's from Slovenia. Pozdrav sa Balkana. Not Slovenia, but kako si, prijatelj. Then we have Sebastian here from Portugal. We have Joey. We have Juanita, Frederick. Good to see you all. All right, let's dive into it while people are jumping on. And dear YouTube and Rumble AI, please do people a favor and show them that they're subscribed to our channel and show them that there's a live stream. I want to quickly jump into a story with you all. All the world's a stage and we each must play a part. Hasn't that been said by some wise people? I think William Shakespeare, such an interesting story about William Shakespeare, who he was and what he was. And I mean, just the William Shakespeare conspiracy is great. Elvis said it too, right? The world's a stage and we each must play a part in Are You Lonesome Tonight? And other people have said it, but what does that mean? Well, speaking of Elvis, when I was a kid, I played in theater and major productions and stuff like that. That was kind of, I was an athlete and I was in music and theater, and that was kind of a path I was on that was very could have been a big path for me. I just didn't choose to pursue it for a particular reason. But when I was in theater, and actually I remember this vividly when I played in a production. I played Elvis as a kid. And when you are in theater and when you have your first rehearsals, when you start to learn your role and your cues and the text and everything you got to do, in the beginning, you're not really moving into the role as much. You're just kind of getting to know it, and you're dipping your toe into it, and it's not really that coherent yet. But after a while, what begins to happen when you get comfortable, every time you enter stage, it's interesting, and you can really kind of you can feel it. You enter stage, you become that role. And then if you play it night after night after night for 6 months or a year like I did, you slowly begin to become that character all the time. It's hard to move out of it if you do it so much. And as a kid, I didn't really have the conscious awareness of this. So I just became Elvis as a kid. You know, everything about me had that appearance, feeling, everything. And it took me a while to get out of it. And I realized certain things about this whole showbiz and in the entertainment industry, theater, it's its own little twisted universe. It's very unique, and the characters in it. But I realized I had to get out of it at an early age. In my early teens, I had to get out of it. It just didn't sit well with me what was going on. But I realized something soon in life, that we just like in theater, we come into this place, into this realm, into the matrix, simulation, whatever you want to call it, into this dense reality here, and we begin playing a role, a character. A character has a name, it has a history, it has a story, it has a family, it has you know, viewpoints and strengths and stuff like that. And then it has schooling the character, and has friends, it has a life, it has everything. And at some point, as children, we still know, well, that's not really who I am. As children, we have this unspoken realization. We don't need to talk about it. It's not verbalized, that we are something that cannot be grasped. It cannot be put into words. But the more we live, the more it's being pushed into us. We are the character that we play. And so while we are in this role, in this avatar, and I have, the avatar was given a name, and I'm Jean Nolan, and I really am not Jean Nolan. I am. That's where the sentence ends. I am. That's all there is to it. But to the world, I am someone. To the world, I'm an individual, unique expression that has a name and a story and a character and a voice and a look and all that stuff. And inherently, that's not a bad thing. That's just how we interact in this world. But when we begin believing that we are that character, that's where all the bullshit begins. If we don't realize this is a stage, this is a grand illusion, and we're playing a part in it. And in that part, we have important things to do, and we have things to learn, and things to solve, and things to heal, and things to do together. But if we don't realize it's a role, it's a character, that's not who we really are, we begin to attach to the boxes we're being put in, and we put ourselves in. And then now, of course, it's getting ever smaller, these definitions. Right now we are, it used to be we were men and women, and now people are all kinds of things. There are 67 genders, and next year will be 89 or whatever. I don't care. And all that bullshit keeps going on, and keep getting the boxes and the divisions keep getting smaller and smaller. So you don't really have large groups of people. You just have little pieces of, fractioned off consciousness. And the truth is, we are really spirit. We are eternal beings. We come here from eternity. We leave here and we make a choice. And whether we know it or not, we make a choice. Whether we stay in this loop, or we step out of it, we step back into something much bigger. And maybe that's not the ultimate eternity yet, but we step into something much bigger. And if we could, and this only happens when you live a spiritual life, and spiritual life doesn't mean you sit here and you sound all profound all the time and you just use spiritual language. That's not what spiritual means. All my spiritual teachers looked like Joe Blow, looked like your regular Joe. They sat at the coffee shop, they drank espresso. Some of them were chain smokers. Others, they have avatars, and they didn't pretend. They didn't need to pretend. They are. And so it's a way of being, and you then begin to become who you really are again, and still live in this world. That's why I always say, before enlightenment, chop wouldn't carry water. After enlightenment, chop wouldn't carry water. It's not that you all of a sudden become enlightened and special and you're just levitating and not giving a shit. No, you still apply yourself to the world, but you actually have God in your heart all the time. You actually walk with spirit all the time. And what you say is always connected to spirit. What you do is always connected to spirit. You don't have to say it, for God's sakes. You don't have to always say, God is telling me to tell you this. No. It's not how it works. You just are who you are. But when you identify with Jessica, I don't know, Carter, and then that's your name, or Suzanne Miller, or Jason Bieber, I don't know. If you identify with what's on your driver's license, what's in your passport, what's in your bank account, what it says underneath what it says on your business card, job title, you lose connection to who you really are. And then everything begins to fall apart in this world. That's what we see. We see these fractions of consciousness not realizing who they really are. And so much of this, it doesn't mean when we realize the world's a stage, it doesn't mean the play ends. It just means we're now remembering that it's a play. And we can now look at it from a much broader perspective. And I think that's so hugely important. It became so important to me when I was in theater, because, as I said, you dive into a role, and to do it really well, you become that role for that period of time. But if you don't know that, if you don't know that you're stepping into it, you lose who you really are. And that's the danger I see. So that's why God connection, creator connection, nature connection is so important to me. And I find it in so many different things. Water is a big one for me. Water is deeply spiritual to me, deeply grounding to me. Closing my eyes, focusing on my breath. Breath is life. God is life. Creator is life, and all these beautiful things. And then we don't lose ourselves in the perception. And this is something that, David Icke has spoken on so much and so eloquently, on our perceptual reality. And when we realize that, the play will become much, much different. And we will then finally become aware of it again. And we will look at this earthly avatar as just that, an avatar for this period of time. It comes and it goes, but what and who we are is truly eternal. It's truly something that remains, and that is exploring itself constantly. And just imagine if you would keep that kind of in the forefront of your mind as you go throughout your day, you wouldn't take things quite as seriously. I'm not saying don't be respectful of life. I'm not saying don't be respectful of the journey you're on. I'm not saying don't take pride in what you need to do, in the mundane things. Not at all. All that matters. But imagine if you had a conversation and you were humaning your way through that conversation, and that person's insulting me and they think I'm stupid and I'm going to give it back to them, all that crap. Imagine if you could have that conversation and in the back, we're both really not who we pretend to be here. We're really not that. This is just our quick, short experience. Boy, do things change. Forgiveness comes easy because ultimately, whatever that person does, they only do because they forgot who they really are. That's all there is to it. They just forgot who they really are. And that's why they're cranky, and that's why they're anxious, and that's why they're sad and depressed, and they have self-importance, right? Only the ego needs self-importance. Only the human avatar needs self-importance, because who you really are is eternal importance. Everything is eternal importance, is internal consciousness. You would never need self-importance because you know who you are, and you just know. But the ego here, it does that self-importance. Oh, I'm the big shot here, and I'm above you, and I'm higher on the social rank. All that crap means nothing. Means absolutely nothing. It means nothing. It means nothing. Especially if that rank is simply accomplished by being born into a family or having a bigger bank account. All that superficial crap that doesn't mean anything. And this is something to just dip your toe into, that awareness. Walk with that. I encourage you, walk with it. As a human being, there are moments where I forget that. Those are usually moments that are not as comfortable. And I want to put myself on a pedestal here and pretend I'm like, I don't ever do that. Of course I'm humaning. Of course sometimes I get angry or disappointed, or all those normal human feelings. But eventually I remind myself, this is not really the end of my journey here. This is not really all there is to it. It's just a small piece of it. And I just wanted to share that with you, that these words, all the world's a stage and each must play a part, they have tremendous deep meaning. And also, in closing, what that means ultimately, on stage, a victim and a perpetrator, they come in pairs. So on stage, they are in the same scene, and there's a reason for that. Because ultimately, the victim and the perpetrator, they share a lot of shared energy in that particular relationship that they have in this play. And one cannot progress without acknowledging the other. One cannot really spiritually progress without seeing the deeper meaning in that relationship, as horrific as it might express itself in this realm. So that's something that it's beautifully shown in Family Constellation. Look that up if you haven't yet. Family Constellation. You can look or Google Bert Hellinger, Berthellinger, or look him up on YouTube. anyways, there's a lot of videos, and he's one of the pioneers of family constellation. He passed away a few years ago, but there's many videos out there. And ultimately, in the ultimate realm, we have to step into this knowing that we all our experiences, all our interactions serve a purpose. And as much as we in this physical realm, we need the structures, we need agreements, we need rules, we need consequences when somebody violates another person. We all need that in this physical realm. There's no doubt about it, because when people forget who they are for long enough, they get batshit crazy. They do crazy things. And then society needs to protect itself against those people. When they forget who they are for long enough, society needs to do that. There's no way. Of course, then there's rehabilitation and therapy and help and healing, and all that is important. But ultimately, that's also part of our physical realm, the order, a real order. So something to walk with. It's quite a deep topic, and it's nothing to just kind of lightly consume for your entertainment. It's something we all, I think, need to remind ourselves. That's what meditation and prayer is for. Quiet time is for our own little sacred time with creation, with the Creator. So I just wanted to share this with you all. My thoughts for today. I really appreciate you all. I so look forward to going through the comments here. It's always wonderful. That's my post live stream ritual I go through. And I wanted to say thank you. You mean so much to us. And if you feel that this or other videos or live stream might be of value to friends and family, don't be shy. Please share. These platforms don't want truth spoken. They really don't. And they can't help it. They have forgotten who they are too, those who are running it. They're so identified with their character, their avatar, they forgot there's a bigger picture. And so we need to do that. We need to be the ones who take action here. So please share. Please make sure you're still subscribed. And also, please check out our Rumble and our Locals platform. That's inspired.locals.com and the Inspired channel on Rumble. We appreciate you so much. We love you, and we'll be back with you again very, very soon.